My fellow Africans, we can do better. We have to do better. We must do better. There is no other option. The US government might be good for the US, but it's worse for the rest of the world. We have seen the patterns of them being involved on our issues, on African issues, on our countries. You have seen what is going on in Ethiopia and how much they're trying to be involved in that situation. Not as a part of solution, but a part of a trouble, putting on sanction without willingly decide to sit down and talk with the government of Ethiopia, but rather going to Kenya to talk about Ethiopia, going to Turkey to talk with UAE and Egypt about Ethiopia. I'm asking myself this question: why can't you sit down with the government of Ethiopia and talk about issues that's going on in Ethiopia? I don't know what's the agenda. What's the agenda here? We always say Africa for Africans. Our matters will be resolved by Africans. And if you want to be a part of solution, then you have to stand and to follow our rules and our wish, Africans' wish. The other day I've seen the news that was released by the government of the US, the travel ban to Tanzania. And this is what they said. Tanzania, level 4, do not travel. Do not travel to Tanzania due to COVID-19. Exercise increased caution in Tanzania due to crime, terrorism, and targeting of LGBTI persons. This news right here, it was released on December 6, 2021 by Travel State Government, the official website for the government. And my question is this: US government, why don't you focus on your national matters? Why don't you focus on reducing the crime rates that is happening in the United States every single day? Because you cannot sit down and talk about crime that is happening in Africa. First, we have to talk about the crime that is happening in the US every single day. Most time we have seen human rights being involved with the issues that are happening in Africa, happening in our countries, saying that this is not human right. We have seen the patterns. We have seen what happened in Libya. They always say that it was the deterioration of human right, but we know the fact, we know the truth. It's because Gaddafi, he had a vision for Africa. He was not a perfect man, but he wanted to have the same currency in Africa. And so they took him down, saying that there have been a lot of violation of human rights. The same thing is going on right now in Ethiopia. We hear the same stories, but I didn't know that even my country is a target. I found out just yesterday, and I was really mad. But I'm glad because I thought through this before filming this video, to talk to everybody out there that this has to stop. What about the violation of human rights that is happening in the United States? What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing about that? What about people who are being killed every single day in the United States? Why are you not talking about that? And why right now focusing on the crimes that is happening outside of your country? I will tell you, there is no place in this world that crimes are happening as much as happens in the United States. First of all, you have to know that crimes happens everywhere. But I've been here in the land for more than a month. I haven't seen anything like that. You're talking about terrorism, and this is what they say. They say Mtwara region in southern Tanzania due to the threat of terrorism. This is the way, this is the pattern they're using all the time to scare people to travel to some places. We have seen the news talking about Addis Ababa, that there is terrorism threat to the city of Addis Ababa. But guess what? That city, there's peace in that city. The city is calm. I've shared clips, I've shared videos that shows how calm, how peaceful that city is. And soon I'll be visiting there to show everybody around the world how peaceful that place is. In Tanzania, people, they don't even know the meaning of terrorism. Because for the past 60 years of independence, there's nothing like that ever happened in Tanzania. We don't know what is terrorism. I'm not here to brag about it, but I thank God for protecting Tanzania, for protecting this land and providing peace to their people. And my desire is to see the same peace across the continent of Africa. Yes, we have things that we need to work on. We have things that we need to correct, but there's certain peace in Tanzania. There is no threat of terrorism. There's no such a thing. This is a lie. And we cannot stand and support it. We have to stand against it. You're talking about targeting of LGBTI persons. Let me tell you this. In Africa, we care about our values. We care about our culture. We care about our customs. We care about our traditions. But yet, nobody will ever be persecuted because they're gays. That's not what we stand for. We stand for love, peace, and unity. That's what we stand for. But when you come to Africa, you must respect the traditions, value, and norms of Africa. You must submit to that. You can't come here and act like a boss. You can't come here and want to be in control, because this is our land, this is our continent, and these are our people. And we're going to stand behind our leaders. We're going to support our governments, and we're going to defend Africa with everything we have got. And we know that our weapon is unity, because for so long you have been trying to divide us, but we are going to be united. And you cannot do anything about that. You ain't gonna do a thing about our unity in Africa. We all know the truth that you never cared for Africa. You never will. But for a long time we have been deceived to think like you're supporting Africa, to think like you care for Africa, but that's not the case. Every single year, according to the UN reports, more than 50 to 100 US billion dollars is being wasted from Africa. That's more than the loans and aids that is coming to Africa. We all know what is going on behind that, but we cannot stand that. The meaning is Africa has been sustaining the world for a long time. But the ideology out there, it has been, seems like you support Africa. You are helping Africa. In fact, Africa is sustaining the world. Sustaining, it means strengthening mentally and physically. That's what Africa's been doing. Look at the case of Niger. 40% of electricity in France is coming from the uranium that is coming from Niger. But 86% of people in Niger, they don't have electricity. Who is sustaining the world? Africa has been supporting your nations more than any other place, more than ourselves. You have been using us against us. You have been taking advantage of our resources for years. You have been manipulating for years. But this has to stop, because Africa is waking up. We are awake now and we're speaking about it. We're not going to wait for our leaders to talk about it. We're going to stand and talk about it. We're going to stand and say no more to exploitations of our resources. No more. French troops in Niger killed 3 people. They didn't do anything wrong. They were there to defend their country. They were standing against the French troops in Niger. They are tired of what has been going on for ages in Niger and in that Francophone region. The only thing they demanded is to see what is inside the vehicle. But you know the result of that? You started to shoot at them. You shot at them. And our 3 brothers, they died. One of them, he was only 15. And some of them, they were injured, 14, 15 years old, 30 years old. They were injured badly. And we don't know what's the numbers right now. But until when are we going to stand and watch our brothers die? Until when are we going to stand and watch people taking advantage of Africa? Until when? It's a time to leave Africa for Africa. It's a time for French troops to get out of Africa and to leave Africa for Africa. It's a time for the US to leave Africa alone. And it's a time for Africa to be one, to be united, because without unity, there is no future for Africa. Without having a united Africa, we cannot survive. This is what Mwalimu Nyerere, he said in 1997 when he was in Accra, Ghana, giving a speech. Unity will not make us rich, but it can make it difficult for Africa and African people to be disregarded and humiliated. And it will therefore increase the effectiveness of the decisions we will. Therefore, of the decision we will make and trying to implement for our development. My generation led Africa to political freedom. The current generation of leaders and people of Africa must pick up the flickering torch of African freedom, refuel it with their enthusiasm and determination, and carry it forward. Unity, it will make us strong. Without unity, we cannot have future for Africa. And when your brother is not at peace, you can't be at peace. It's my call for all Africans to stand with African countries. It's my call for all Africans to be one, to be united, whether you are inside the continent or you are outside the continent. If our brothers and sisters in Tanzania are raising their voices, let's stand with them and raise voice together. If Ethiopia raise their voices, we have to stand with Ethiopia. The same thing to Niger, the same thing to Nigeria, the same thing to Kenya, Somalia, Sudan, the same thing to all continents in Africa. The same thing. We must become one. We must stand together. We have been through this for ages. It's annoying to see how much Africa is disregarded and humiliated. Well, we don't even have seats in UNSC. A continent of 1.3 billion people, we don't have a representative. We don't have someone who can represent our issues in the UNSC Council. Nobody is there. We have been taken advantage for a long time. We have been disregarded for a very long time. It's a time to think for ourselves. It's the time to stand for Africa. It's the time to think for our children. What kind of future are we preparing for tomorrow's Africa? What kind of future are we preparing for our children and kids? Africa has been sustaining the world for so long, while our people have been dying every single day. Take an example of doctors and in the hospitals. In the US, there's more than 13,000 Nigerian doctors. But in Africa, people are dying every single day because there is no doctors. We don't have doctors in Africa. When are we going to wake up? When are we going to defend and protect the motherland of Africa? When are we going to stand first and foremost for people's life? When are we going to stand for that? When are we going to stand for that? Yes, I understand money, it's important. Yes, we must live. We must develop. But what about people's life? Because if you don't have people, you cannot make money. The country is people. The country is people. Africa is people. People's lives matter. And we should always think first about people. We should always think first about Africans and defend this beautiful continent. Africa must wake up now. Stand for yourself, because nobody cares for you. Nobody did, and no one will ever care for you. We must, us as Africans, protect and defend Africa at all costs. I will never speak about violence. I will never ask you to fight someone, but I will ask you to be one, to be united, because I believe in love, peace, and unity for Africa. And the only way for that to happen is for us to become one, because together we are strong and divided we are weak. And we cannot afford to lose anyone else. We cannot afford anyone to take advantage of Africa. We must stand, we must defend, we must speak out, and we must act on our words to make sure that we have our Africa back. And we better be very careful with the relationship that we're dealing right now with Chinese. We better watch out. Because a lot of countries in Africa owe a lot Chinese government. And we cannot keep doing that. The solution is very simple. The solution is to come together, to be united. The solution is to be one, man. Every other things will be taken care of once we are united. I'm telling you, we have brilliant women and men in Africa. We have smart minds, diaspora outside of Africa. We better become one and save this continent, because we have brain, we have resources, we have everything that we need. We have will, we can make decisions, and we can change this continent together as one. We can do that. And we must do that. And we have to do that, because there is no other option. We can't just sit back and watch our continent being destroyed. We can't sit back and see us and watch our continent being exploited. Enough is enough. And this has to stop right now. Not tomorrow, not the day after tomorrow, right now. It is the time for African leaders to come together. It is the time to pick up your phone and call another African leader and call the neighboring country. Speak to them. It's the time to strengthen our relationship within African countries. It is the time to reduce the conflicts that are going on between one another, because most of them, the source is not inside but outside, and we cannot let that happen. We have to stop. We must stop. And this is just coming from an African who loves Africa. I'm not a professional journalist. I'm not an expert. I'm not a politician, but I love Africa. And I've been sitting back and watching people take advantage of Africa for so long, and that has to stop, because now the game is on. And we're going to fight for Africa. As long as I have this breath, I will give everything I can to fight for Africa, to fight for one Africa, because that is my mission. And I want you to join me to fight and defend and protect Africa. My fellow Africans, I know I've been all over the place, but I hope you got my message. We have to do better. Our generation has to do better. We cannot be passive. We must be active. And the time is now. Because Africa depends on you. Africa is like a precious diamond. But most of us, we don't know how precious Africa is. If you know what you have in your hand, you're going to protect it and keep it safe, because you know how precious it is. And everybody is looking after Africa. Everyone is after Africa. US, Europe, Asia, India, everyone is after Africa. We must protect it. We must protect it with everything we got. And so if you want to come to Africa, and if you want to have partnership, if you want to have relationship, it needs to be both two sides. You can't come here and try to control Africa. You can't come here and try to be a boss. This is not your place to be a boss. You must come with honor and dignity and respect our values and what we stand for. That's time is now. The time is now. We cannot say no to cooperate with you, but you have to see us as your partners. And this relationship that we've been having for a long time, it has been a toxic relationship for Africa. And we must get out of this. I hope our leaders wakes up, because we must get out of this. It's not the time to be scared. It's not the time to be quiet, but it's the time to make decisions. And it's the time to get out of toxic relationships and to initiate the better relationships. Because we can cooperate. We can collaborate. We can do that, but based on our values. Finally, don't stop raising your voice. Don't shut your mouth. Don't let anyone say otherwise to you. You have a right to speak. You have a right to defend Africa. You have a right to stand for your continent. These are your people. You're standing for your people. So if you're not with us, you're against us. My final note will be coming from Martin Luther King. He once said, "I have decided to stick to love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. I choose to love, and I choose to fight this fight with love, peace, and unity, and not otherwise." God bless Africa. God bless everybody. I love you guys.